Tren Twins are never getting shredded. I ate donuts and cookie. Off. It's the end of the world. Like, I'm sorry.
Hey, sorry. It's what I do. Coach Greg, in today's video, the Tren Twins, they're still fat. And you're thinking I'm saying this, but I'm literally reading their title. We're still fat. And so I was at the Arnold's, and the second most common thing that people brought up was, in fact, the Tren Twins and whether or not they're going to get shredded for their competition. The most common question of all is Alex Eubank natural? Heard it at least a dozen times. Very common question. But in second place was, are the Tren Twins going to get shredded? And my answer was, no, I don't think they are. Remember, I tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. You want me to hear me say, yeah, he's going to look shredded. You're going to be more shredded than Wesley Vissers. But remember, I tell you what I think based on what I see. And so in my last video, I called them out. They're eating a bunch of donuts. And the Tren Twins, they wrote this: we can enjoy donuts and cookies without Greg Doucette making a video on it. Well, of course you can. And of course I'm making a video. And so when the next video up says you're still fat, then who do you think is right after all? The Tren Twins, all you gotta do is get shredded, show that you eat all these donut cheat meals and so on, that it still works, that you don't need my cookbook, and we'll believe you. I'm not cheering for them to fail, I'm cheering for them to succeed. I'm just telling you I don't think they will. It doesn't mean I'm not rooting for them. And so to me, there's a big difference. And so let's see, is this just a clickbait title? Are they saying we're still fat, but they're gonna be shredded? Well, stay tuned and find out.
On rest days, we don't have as much carbs. We don't need them. Heavy lifting days, we're gonna have more carbs, so it's...
And so on rest days, when they're not training, they're not gonna eat as many carbs. And on training days, high activity days, they're gonna eat more carbs. When I dieted, I did cardio every single day. I never had any days off. Every day would have been a low carb day. And so what's going on right now? What are you doing? Training 3 days a week? What do you mean? Rest days, low carb days, training days, high carb days. I trained every day. Every day was training day. I thought you were passionate about this sport. Since when do newer lifters want to take several days off? Oh, on all those days off, we're not going to eat so much. When we train the gym, we're going to have extra carbs. Really? When are you taking a day off? Show me that you've earned one.
The main thing on the cut is we're not going to stop lifting heavy.
And so they said the main thing on the cut is they're not going to stop lifting heavy. And so here's the thing. The thing that built you the muscles is the thing that you should continue to do as you're training and dieting for competition. But there's always a but. The Tren Twins are already training too heavy. I mean, in their last workout I watched, he was re-racking the weight, almost fed on his head. And so when you're going for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rep maxes in the gym, lifting with very heavy weights while on performance-enhancing drugs, which makes your tendons more likely to tear, it's very dangerous. Tren Twins have never been shredded before. They've been lean, they looked eyed, of course they have. But they've never been truly shredded. I'm talking 5% body fat. Once you get shredded, once you start dehydrating your body, once you start using estrogen blockers and so on, you're going to quickly find out that it is not safe to lift heavy. Way more beneficial to keep the reps up high, to leave your egos at the door and forget about bench pressing 400 and 500 pounds. You might physically be able to lift those weights, but it's very dangerous. And so why not listen to what I've told you all along? Higher reps. Remember, I was coaching the Tren Twins before. I told them, please do higher reps. I watch a video and they'd be maxing out. Dangerous weights, risking injury. But remember, at the time, they weren't even single-digit body fat. And so it was a lot safer. But as you begin to diet, to suffer, to learn what it's really like to be a bodybuilder. Remember, they don't know what it's like to be a bodybuilder. They lift weights. Yes, of course they do. But to me, to be a bodybuilder, you're dieting for competition. Big difference.
Someone asked, do fuckers on steroids smell worse?
You smell like a sorority whore, brother. You smell like you had about 10, 12 ding-dongs in you in the past month or so.
And so the thing with steroids is you can't actually smell that somebody's on them. Sometimes you can, yes. In particular, Tren has a certain scent to it. But for the most part, we're not dogs. You can't walk up to someone and go, oh, I smell Anavar on you. You had T-ball. You're on that there Tren and EQ. It doesn't work like that. And so just because you're on steroids, you don't have a certain scent. I've never in my life been told I can smell that you're on steroids. And remember, I abused steroids for over 10 years. And so smelling like you're on steroids, it's not a thing. Now, smelling like you're eating a bunch of eggs like Eddie Abu, yeah, that is the thing. That's sulfur. It's not very pleasant. But simply injecting or taking performance-enhancing drugs orally, it is not going to be something you can smell.
That noise, that sound... Your senses, they're strong, right? Your senses, they push you towards things. Just like the scent, like the pheromone when you're having or like get into that type of thing. It turns me into a feral animal. The same thing is with ears, my sound.
And so he makes a great point. He's talking about the sound of the weights. It's getting a boost of testosterone. When you're in an environment that's conducive to training, whether it's the type of equipment that you're using, the surroundings, the images, the music that you're listening to, it can make a big difference on your performance. I know that when I'm out training with like-minded individuals with the same goals, I'm going to push that much harder. And if you don't think that music can make a difference, try it. Work out in silence without any music versus listen to your favorite song and see just how much farther you can push yourself. Not only during weights, but during cardio. And for example, when I'm in a bike race, I'm saving my best, most favorite songs for at the end of the race. This is when I need the most energy. Not only can you leverage music, the environment, the gym you're training at, you can of course leverage your caffeine. The Tren Twins take in pre-workout right before going to the gym. I would suggest you take it at least 30 minutes before you go to the gym to allow it to peak in your bloodstream so that you can really feel it as you enter the gym. And the best way to do this is to avoid caffeine at any other time of day. Don't drink your morning cup of coffee. Please drink decaf. This will allow you to boost the dopamine, the adrenaline from taking caffeine for your exact workout. And that is when you need it most. And so let me analyze his technique on the deadlift. He did a set of 2 with 5 plates. That to me is a very lightweight. You should be able to get 10 plus reps with that. Now, perhaps he's warming up, but if he is in fact warming up, why is he doing 2 reps? Now, notice when you're lifting weights, we're working both the eccentric and the concentric. On the way up, the concentric, that's when it's harder. He's struggling to lift the weight. And notice what he does on the concentric. He drops the weight. He completely releases tension, and so he's not getting his muscles a greater stimulus for muscle development. And so to me, this is 100% wrong. If we're trying to build the most muscle possible, why are we only focusing on the concentric and eliminating the eccentric? This is the way power lifters often train. Power lifters don't need to be strong on the eccentric, only bodybuilders. But they're not powerlifters. They're training for a competition. That competition is bodybuilding. Why are we doing sets of 2 and only focusing on the concentric? Remember, I'm only trying to help. If you're trying to build a lot of muscle, don't do sets of 2 and only work on the concentric. It's not how you grow.
You gotta take your body away from that to get better. You gotta create a new homeostasis.
And consistently increase the volume and consistently increase the different exercises you're doing.
Life is never consistent.
Absolutely. Talking about life being consistent, 100% agree with him. No one wants a consistent life. Whether you're looking for a boyfriend or a girlfriend, it's not about consistency. If you become complacent, you do the same thing day in, day out. Even if you love that person, it's going to get boring. You need to spice things up. Take chances. Be yourself. And although you might think, no, I want to just keep it safe. I don't want to venture out into this world. That is not what it's all about. You grow up and you move out of your parents' basements and so on, despite the fact that maybe they're even millionaires. Everything is provided for you. You still have to move out. Life is about adventure. Get out, take it chances, explore the world, and make things happen. If you don't trust me, you will regret it. You might be 75 years old before you realize this, but one day you will realize you need to take a chance. Whether you pass or fail, you need to go after your dreams.
The most important thing is have fun, enjoying your time in here. This isn't a job. This isn't a second job. This is safe haven.
And so for the Tren Twins, perhaps it's competing in this competition. But remember, they have to actually compete. They can't keep dropping out. They can't keep being safe. You need to let loose. You need to go after it. And you know what else you need? Cookbook 3.1. Code Greg, 15% off. Click the link in the description. Are we going to have to ask Mike Israetel what we think of this technique? Is this maximizing hypertrophy? I mean, I'm only pointing out exactly what I'm seeing in this video. They're training for a bodybuilding competition that you're doing 2 rep maxes with suboptimal technique. This is known as ego lifting. It's not great for building muscle, but what it's great for is getting injured. And last I checked, if you're injured, you can't train properly and you're not competing in your competition.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. One more. Give me one more. Give me. Come on. Up.
So let's go over his technique. First thing I noticed is the hand width placement. It's too wide. It's forcing him to lean forward too much, making him use too much lower back. He goes for 1 rep and can't get 2. Fails on the 2nd rep. When we're 12 weeks out from a bodybuilding competition, should we be failing at 2 rep max attempts in the gym? Yes or no? I'll let you decide.
Get in there and give me that fucking rep. Oh yeah, give me that rep. There it is.
And so after failing that rep, we don't lighten the weight and do a set of 10 and use proper technique. Now, no, what do? We go after it again, a weight that we could very easily get hurt on. And so what's next? Well, we up the weight. I mean, after all, we barely just got 2 reps with the weight. Why don't we go even heavier?
Come on, let's go. Get it up there. Let's go.
And so let's now, with lifting straps, hitch that weight up harder than last time. Keep pulling, swing the weight, cheat it up. Who cares as long as the weight goes up? Does this look like bodybuilding training to you? Does anyone think that Coach Kyle programmed them to do these lifts? Now that you're watching a little bit of their lifting, do you understand what it's like to coach the Tren Twins? Do you really think I had it easy? Do you really think that I just gave them a cookbook and said, eat whatever you want? Or is it maybe that they don't listen effectively? Perhaps they're hearing what you're saying, but not applying it in practice.
Let's get right into the shit. Ooh, my neck.
Ooh, my neck. It doesn't sound good. Should we be tweaking the neck at this point? Is there any reason that they should have gone past 5 plates on each side? I don't think so. Let's save the 6 plates for when they're trying to peak for a powerlifting competition. Nothing wrong with that. Remember, I was a dual athlete. I did both powerlifting and bodybuilding. When I was bodybuilding, I was bodybuilding. I was still doing the deadlifts, but I was doing higher repetitions, perhaps 10, 12, 15, something in a safe zone so that I'm avoiding injury.
I'm addicted to caffeine. Like, I don't know what it is.
And so already addicted to caffeine on day 1 on the diet.
This is an anabolic ending. Imagine that. Killed by caffeine.
We're just starting a diet. We're already addicted to caffeine. Imagine the alternative. You've only been using caffeine for before your workouts. You're like Coach Greg and you listen to Andrew Huberman and you know not to consume caffeine first thing in the morning. You perhaps have done a caffeine detox the way I did. I used to take in over 1 gram of caffeine a day. I was drinking it all day long. It was affecting my sleep. And so rather than that, in the off season, try to limit your caffeine. And then as you're dieting, you can then progressive overload the caffeine as you need it. Listen, I get it. As you diet harder and harder, as the show gets closer, as you get leaner, the energy levels are going to drop and you're probably going to resort to using caffeine. But if it's day 1 on the diet and you need caffeine halfway through your workout or even any caffeine at all, things are not looking up. Save it for when you really need it.
It looked like you tore your shit at some point.
What the fuck are you talking about? I did tear my...
Doesn't that look weird?
Yeah, this one.
Doing the hamstrings curls, you can see there was a hamstring tear in the past. These are young guys. This is often a result of ego lifting in the gym, training too heavy. Remember, it could very easily happen again. Imagine going for a 1 rep max deadlift, hitching the weight, and suddenly you pull the trap. Do you really want that to happen? Your lat gets injured, you tweak your neck. Do you really want to subject yourself to this yet again? And so my advice, lighten the weight, use proper control and exercise technique. And so let's examine the technique. As he's curling the weight up, he's using some explosive power. There's nothing wrong with that. You do want to lift the concentric faster than the eccentric. And so power it up by all means. And if you can, potentially pause that weight at the top. If you can't, that's still okay, but at least slowly resist the urge to allow the weight to drop quickly on the eccentric. Notice there's no control. It just bang, 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 fast explosive reps. I would much prefer to see more control. Try not to ego lift in the gym. You could perhaps lift a bit less weight and control the negative, the eccentric portion. This will allow for you to have greater time under tension, also known as TUT, and cause you to build more muscle than last time.
Oh yeah, they're getting bigger. They're pumping up.
Much better technique here. Compare Exhibit A to Exhibit B. Much better, slowly controlled reps on the eccentric.
What you got there?
I gotta taste this right now.
0 calories.
0 calories for 30 grams. If this is real,
It's peanut butter, bro. It's Walden Farms.
And the peanut butter from Walden Farms, Coach Kyle's allowed me to eat this. If you can have peanut butter from Walden Farms, which tastes like garbage, you can certainly eat amazing recipes from Cookbook 3.1. And about the thickness, if you need extra thickness, remember peanut butter running like that, you don't want that. You want it harder than last time. And so if you need to get harder than last time, please pick up harder than last time. Code Greg, 15% off. Click the link in the description.
What's it taste like?
shit. So disappointing.
Who wants to hear it's so disappointing? Don't forget, harder than last time. And so you can tell based on the diet, trying to get Walden Farms peanut butter, Miracle noodles, low calorie this, low calorie that. Guys, just get the cookbook. It makes it so much easier. Like, why aren't we starting out and leading with the cookbook? Does it make any sense? Does anyone out there actually think the Tren Twins shouldn't be using my cookbook? Or are they better off eating Walden Farms peanut butter, Miracle noodles, and so on?
Honestly, this is not really good. It's not what he was expecting.
And so perhaps that's how the diet works. They eat only shit foods that taste like garbage. And so it's so disgusting you don't like the food, you don't even eat it. And then that's how you're going to lose weight. In comparison, the cookbook, you like everything. It doesn't feel like a diet. You're satiated. There are large meals. Which diet do you prefer? The diet where you eat all foods that you hate and that's how you lose weight? Or the diet that you love and you also lose weight? Choose your battles. Code Greg, 15% off.
Tren Twins are never getting shredded. I'm 8 donuts a cookie. Off. It's the end of the world. I'm sorry.
Hey, sorry. It's what I do.
Somebody in the comments said they've been saying they were going to get shredded for 2 years now. I haven't even been doing YouTube for 2 years.
And I was shredded before.
I literally was shredded before. 2 months ago.
You know what? I actually heard that comment so many times. So many people came up to me and said they keep dieting and then they go off their diet and they diet and they go off their diet. I wasn't aware of doing it 5 or 6 times, but obviously they were dieting for a show when I was coaching them and then they stopped. And so people are used to it. Even if it happened one time, people are going to remember it. And so certainly the pressure is on. The fans, they're remembering these things. Hey, you guys were on a diet, then you eat donuts, you said you eat junk food, and you got to stick to it. And so the puck stops here. It's time to go all in, harder than last time. And Tren Twins, remember, you still got the recipes. I'm sure Coach Kyle's going to prove them. If he's allowing you to have peanut butter from Walden Farms and those noodles, he's certainly going to prove recipes in Cookbook 3.1. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm, like the video if you liked it. Don't forget to watch one of those 2 bloops. And of course, the cookbooks, the training books, the Circle Diet book, all kinds of books. You want to get the books, head over to the website. Also, if you want a free diet and training program or to become one of the 300,000 plus newsletter subscribers, head over to the website. There's a clothing line, supplements, everything. Head over there right now. Code Greg, 15% off. And until next time, I am out.